What is up, you filthy animals? How are y'all doing today? Welcome back. Thanks for stopping in and hanging out with me and talking about some movies. I hope wherever you're at and whatever you're doing, you are striving, you're thriving, you are loving yourself and loving the people you are with, because that is what the Lord tells us to do. Guys, today we are talking about a movie from 2026, this year, just a few months old, and it's directed by someone who I'm not a huge fan of, but they made a heck of a movie here. Guys, this is 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Directed by Nia Da Costa. Now, if you don't know who Nia Da Costa is, she has made The Marvels, bleh, and she made the remake of Candyman, also, bleh. Terrible movies. But then someone tapped her to direct this film. I don't know if whoever tapped her, imbued her with some sort of magical directing ability all of a sudden, but this is by far probably one of the best films I've seen last year or this year. I mean, it ties into 28 years later. The first one with, I think, is Aaron Taylor Johnson, and I don't know what the kid's name is, but he's in it, and this picks up just about directly after that. Now, before I get into this, before I really hammer in on what this film is, because I'm going to talk about it in depth, guys, because there's a lot of themes to unpack. There's some good acting to talk about. I mean, it's a film that you discuss. You know, it's not like, it was good, and then y'all go about your, no, we talking about this, all right? So, in case you haven't seen it, just in case, maybe you don't want spoilers, go check out one of my other reviews or something until you've seen it, and you can come back and we can talk about it freely. So, you got 5 seconds till I drink this little bit of coffee here, and then we're going to get into it. So let's talk about 28 years later, The Bone Temple. If you've seen the very first film, or the very first was 28 days later with Cillian Murphy back in the early 2000s, I think. And then we waited a while, and we get a couple of sequels. Then we get this one. Well, this ties into 28 years later, where we see Spike, and that's the kid's name, by the way. We see him and Aaron Taylor Johnson's character. Is it Aaron Taylor Johnson? Or is it... Anyway, the guy who played Quicksilver. I don't think that's his name. Or if it is, I'm not saying it right. But the guy who played Quicksilver in Avengers, I think it was. So, anyway, that guy, this kid, and a lady, Jodie Comer, I believe, she was excellent. She was the best part of the last one. But they're in that, and she, they find this doctor. She's sick. We don't know what's wrong with her. He winds up telling Spike she got cancer. She passes away. He puts her skull on top of the Bone Temple. At the beginning of that film, we see this group of kids in kind of a religious parish. They are watching Teletubbies. Caca hits the fan. Kids wind up escaping, but one of them, he sees his mom and dad get ripped apart, kind of thing, and it, it messes you up, right? And it's been 28 years since that happened. So we see that at the beginning of the 28 years later, the first one. At the end of 28 years later, Spike winds up meeting up with people they look like Jimmy Savile, and they are in colored track outfits similar to the Teletubbies. So you're you put two and two together contextually, and you're like, that's okay, so what's this? That's where the movie ends, the 28 years later, the first one. We pick up Bone Temple, and Bone Temple picks up right where the other one left off, only the kid in the first film, Spike, has joined up with Jimmy, because that's who he, that's his name, that's Jack O'Connell's name. He's a great bad guy. I really liked him. I say I liked him. I've seen him in other things before Sinners, right? And I was like, he's all right. Sinners, I was like, this dude's good as a bad guy. And then I see him in this, and it just solidified it. All he needs to do is play sinister psychopaths, because he is excellent. Jack O'Connell, if you hear me, brother, you're a niche actor right there. But we see him take in Spike. Then they go on this crusade, this religious crusade. We'll put it that way. Now, Jimmy, Jack O'Connell's character, he's been living out there 28 years by himself. His father was a pastor, is like a Catholic priest, right? And So his father, he sees them as demons. He sees the undead as demons because, and you'll figure that out more as you watch the film, when you watch it, but he sees them as demons. And so he's very charismatic. He has this group of people who are all dressed in the tracksuits like him, different colors, and he's going around worshiping Satan. That's his whole thing, is he's worshiping Satan, right? And he was like, Satan released all the demons, blah, blah, blah. So they wind up finding Ray Fiennes' character, the doctor from the first one. And his skin's red because he puts iodine all over himself. It keeps the infection away, keeps the virus at bay. Then he's also, he's a doctor, so he's been working around medicine and tranquilizers, all this kind of stuff. And as we know from the very first 28 days later, it's a virus. It's a virus that doesn't actually kill you. It just makes you incredibly angry and it makes you psychotic. And so Ray Fiennes' character is figuring out ways to calm the zombies, maybe, immunize them, things like that. And one of Jack O'Connell's little gang members sees Ray Fiennes talking to Samson, who's this giant, naked, Pakistani Arab dude who is just massive, right? And one of the little gang members sees Ray Fiennes talking to this. She's like, oh my God, his skin's red. He's talking to the demons. He must be the devil, right? And so she goes back. She tells Jimmy, hey, I've seen your dad, because Jimmy thinks, and I find this so great. Alex Garland is such a fantastic writer. A lot of the time when things like this happens, or someone goes crazy and they get this deity complex, or they think they're the son of God, they think they're the son of God. They think they're Jesus. They think they're someone that has come back, or they are a physical representation of God on earth kind of thing. And in this instance, it is the reverse. Jack O'Connell worships Satan. He thinks that he is Satan's only son on earth. He thinks that he is Satan. He thinks he's Jesus for Satan, basically. He thinks he's Satan's Jesus. And so, he realizes this is my opportunity to get these people to worship me even more, to think basically that I'm Satan's son. I'm going to go to him, and because he's Satan. That's what they think. But Spike realizes that this guy, he was from the first film. He's the one who helped him put his mother, his mother had terminal cancer. He helped her ease into the next stage of life kind of thing, her in-life transition kind of thing. And so Spike knows who he is. He knows he's not the devil, right? So Jack O'Connell goes up to Ray Fiennes alone, talking to him, and he says, hey, man, look, I'm the devil. Are you Old Nick? Because Old Nick is Satan, I guess, in Great Britain. But he said, you Old Nick? He's like, no, I'm just a doctor. And he's like, okay. He goes, well, these people think that you're Satan, and I'm the son of Satan. And so you're either going to pretend that you're Satan, or I'm going to cut your guts out and make you choke on them. And so he was like, well, I guess I'm Satan then. So the film has been excellent up until this point. We're in the last 20 minutes at this point, right? And the special effects have been solid. I haven't noticed hardly any CGI, or if it is CGI, it's mixed in with practical, so it's hard to tell the difference. But I love the way that, because we've got people getting skinned alive, we've got heads getting ripped off, eyes punched out. It's gory. It's way gorier than the first one. In fact, I think that this is a better film than the first one, than 28 years later. But we're gonna, that's up for discussion. But I'm saying this is more. I feel like this is a stronger story for the genre than the first film was. And that's cool, because I liked the first one a lot. But this one, and towards the end, it ties everything back together to 28 days later, and I loved that. I thought that was awesome. But we have this ending sequence where Jack O'Connell's character, Jimmy, comes in there and Ray Fiennes does it up. Now you have to think, and this is what really kind of set the bar for me on this film. You have to think, you've got a bunch of teenagers, bunch of teenage kids, probably not even born, or if they were very, very young when all the stuff went down with the rage virus and all that. So they've never heard music. They've never really experienced pyrotechnics. They've never seen a show. You know what I mean? And so Ray Fiennes' character, he decorates up the bone temple. He puts gunpowder and stuff on the ground, and he does all this. And then he's like, okay, come back tomorrow night and I'll speak to your people, you know? And he's like, but you're only going to talk to me. You don't talk to them. And so he comes with his people to the Bone Temple, and there's no one there. And all of a sudden you hear the opening lines of Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden come crashing through this PA system that he has built and put around the Bone Temple. And he comes out painted white with like black teeth and black stripes on. Like, I mean, he looks the part of a demon. And when the music, when the guitar riff from Number of the Beast starts, you can see the eyes, in the eyes of every one of these kids. They're just awestruck. They're slack-jawed. They're wide-eyed in wonder. And Ray Fiennes is writhing. And he's clawing. And he's, you know, dancing on the stage where he's meeting with them. And all of a sudden he, like, blows, like, hallucinogens in their face, so they're seeing all kinds of stuff, and he drops a torch on the ground, and all the gunpowder circles the Bone Temple, makes like a ring of fire. I mean, he puts on, and the equivalent of that, of that place, he puts on one of the best damn rock and roll shows you will ever see in your life. And the fact that these kids are just, I mean, but the thing is, Jimmy, you know, he's older than all of them. He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, all right. Because he knows that he is telling them, or he's drilling into their heads that he's the son of Satan. But then we get our ending sequence where Ray Fiennes, you know, tells him, hey, you're going to do whatever he says to do. You're going to do this. He goes, but he said, there's one other thing. He goes, you remember the Christ? And he's like, yes, I do. He goes, well, his God wanted a sacrifice of him, and he required his only son to be sacrificed. And he was like, right, okay. He's like, so I'm going to require that sacrifice of you, Jimmy, because the doctor realizes that Spike is the kid behind the mask. And he's like, I've seen Spike suffer enough in his tiny time on this earth. I've seen him suffer, you know, losing his mom. I've seen all these things. He's like, so I didn't want that for Spike. That's what he's thinking. And so that's when he comes up with sacrifice, you know, I want you to sacrifice yourself kind of thing. He says no. Things wind up happening. And to me, it is one of the best ending sequences in a film, period. I mean, there's been a lot of good endings to films over the years. I mean, you know, I can't think of any right off the top of my head. But, you know, we've all seen those films where the ending is just like, man, that was the movie. The ending is what set the movie. The rest of the movie was great. But that ending, man, that solidified it. That froze it in carbonite for me, that how good it was. That's what this ending of this film will do for you, especially if you've watched the entire series, because at the end of the film, we see a familiar face and we're like, perfect. Perfect. That's all I'll say. I'll just say perfect. And then we get our credits. And it was such a good movie, guys. I cannot recommend 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple enough. From the acting to the special effects to the production design, the aesthetics of the film, everything was fantastic. And Nia Da Costa finally hit a home run, because her first two feature-length films that I saw were terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I said, I don't even really care to watch something she's directed again. And I did not know that she had directed this until I had finished watching it. And I thought, wow, who touched her with the movie magic wand and got her the ability to direct something this freaking good? So it's a fantastic film, guys. I highly recommend you check it out. It's worth your time, worth your money. I pre-ordered the Steelbook 4K digital, the whole shebang. I pre-ordered it because it is that solid of a film, and I think you guys would enjoy it. If you want to check it out without paying for it, it is streaming on Netflix right now, guys. So hop over there, hit the play button, and give it a whirl. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, guys, for just a little while, talking about 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, and all that good stuff. So hit that like and subscribe button for me on the way out. And as always, I am going to keep making them as long as you keep watching them, my friends. Peace out. God bless you, and I will see you soon.